I'm Brainerd Carey, Director of Praxis Center, and today I want to talk about the dark side of the art world. So there is many aspects of the art world, and there are many different types of art worlds. But the art world that I'm talking about is the art world where visual artists like yourself want to exhibit and show their work and potentially sell that work. The dark side of the art world is inhabited by people, by institutions, by places that prey on artists' interest in exhibiting their work and wanting attention for their work and wanting to be recognized as being special and having a gift that only someone else can recognize. And this amounts to essentially a type of scam, what I call pay to play opportunities. These opportunities vary greatly in their sophistication and in what they actually want from artists. Some are come with letters like the Florence Biennial, where it'll say, congratulations, you've been, chosen to be in this wonderful biennial. And a biennial is one of the most prestigious things you can get into. So, of course, when anyone gets a letter that sounds like that, the first thing it's easy to feel that is something that you want is, wow, that's so exciting. I've been chosen, I've been selected, I've been picked from among other artists, and my work is going to be shown alongside other great artists. Because places like this know what artists want to hear. And in the case of the Florence Biennial, while some artists have paid the exorbitant fees to get their work there and to be exhibited there, it is blatantly a dark side of the art world, a scam that does not create sales or connections for artists, but rather generates money and funds for the organizer. But there are many more that are even more insidious and difficult to recognize. There are the scams of direct letters that are feeding off of automatic pickups from websites when they're being searched on the web by bots, and they come in the form of, hi, my name's Walter such and such. I noticed my wife looking at your work on your website and it's beautiful. I'd like to pay you for that work and buy a piece of it. And I need it right away, so I'm happy to pay more than you ask for. Something like that. The letter usually has some grammatical errors in it, but not always. And it's complimentary. It's, again, just what artists want to hear, that they're special, that the work has been chosen, and that they want to buy it. And in that case, what happens is they have a special courier that's coming to pick it up, but you have to send them a certain amount of money, and they send you a large check because there's some arrangement with a courier that's very special because they want it there fast. And there's some instances even where they're using stolen credit cards and it looks like money is going into your account. You may see it appear in your account, but then that money will disappear because the card is stolen and the money will come right out again. So, there are many more scams like this. And the reason I think of it as the dark side of the art world is because art is about expressing yourself, right? It's about discussing a situation. It's about your own insight that you have into the world. It's about sharing something with the world that's helpful to the world, whether that's abstract and comes in terms of beauty, or whether that's message oriented and helps people, viewers of your art, look at the world differently. So, artists are really extraordinary beings that are giving these kind of gifts to the world, allowing the world to not just see beauty, but themselves and the world in a different light. This seems to be an abomination to me to take advantage of by manipulating the artist's sense of wanting to share their gift with the world. So there are other aspects to the dark side of the art world, which are a variety of other pay-to-play scams. Galleries from around the world, no matter where you are in the world, you're not immune from this. Whatever country you're in, whatever state you're in, you can get invitations to go to a residency. You can get invitations to be part of a group show that you've been specially selected for. And then you find out that there are exorbitant fees for this, or at least significant fees, $100, $200, $50, fees that add up. So these are all scams that I find very disappointing and disheartening. I created a website called howsmydealing.com, which is linked below, but it's a free website that allows artists to talk about all the scams that they've encountered. And you'll see stories in there, everything from an emerging artist platform in the UK to the Florence Biennial to residencies, mail scams, art consultant scams. They're all in here, and I don't put any of those in there. That's all user contributed information. It's free. You can look at it below to see. But I also want to say that the problem with these scams is that sometimes there are opportunities that might cost a little bit of money to enter. Rarely, but there are some. One such opportunity is the Luxembourg Prize. There was a member in Praxis Center who applied for that. It was 40 euros at that time. I think now it's 50 something. And he won. He was one of a dozen people who won. They flew him to Luxembourg, they put him up in a hotel, and actually purchased a work, had a great experience. So there can be some things like that. But most of the major grants, like the Guggenheim, like Pollock Krasner, many other grants that are out there, many opportunities cost absolutely nothing to apply to. And these are grants that have winning purses of $40,000, $15,000. Just because there's a large grant award or an amazing show award, generally there should not be an entry fee. In some exceptional cases, there are. So one question is, how do you know the difference when they're asking for a fee, if this is exceptional or not? Well, one is if they're really bragging about how amazing their organization is and how they've helped so many artists and how it's just such an incredible opportunity, and the fees start escalating the more you want to engage with it. That's a red flag. Also, another red flag is that initially it seems that there's an application process, but the application is turned around quickly. You get a personal reply, and you're told that this is a great opportunity that you have, and in order to offset some of the enormous amount of expenses they're putting into the show, they'd like $1,500 for you to cover some of the publicity expenses, but the rest of the expenses they'll pay for themselves. That's a scam. That's almost always a scam. They're leading you on with something greater, and then they're asking you to contribute what seems like a minor amount of money, in relation to what is presumably the extraordinary amount of money they're put into this, and it's a scam. So one way to really know, because this can be confusing, is to look up other artists that have been involved in it. So if you get a letter from somebody that says, I want you to be part of this, I was looking at your website, which just almost never happens with artists, the idea of organizations reaching out to pick you and ask you to apply for something. But if you're wondering and thinking, maybe this does look good and I'm not sure it's a scam, look at artists that they've previously said have won this or been part of this. And there has to be that. And if there isn't that, it's an absolute red flag that this is a scam. But generally they say, these are our past artists. These are some people that have been in it. Look up those artists. They likely have websites. They likely have Facebook pages, and contact them, at least 3 of them, and ask them, what was your experience working with the Florence Biennial or Bandito Residency or emerging artist platform, whatever it is? Ask them. And when you get 3 responses that are all very positive and say it was wonderful, worth all the money, okay, then perhaps it's not a scam. But it's up to you to judge at that point. Now, one question you might have is, where do I find ones that are good? Where do I get opportunities that are worth applying to? And that answer is very specific. I've put links also below this video for good opportunities. So there's a link here to look at How's My Dealing, which is the free website where you can see where artists are reporting scams all the time. Again, the darkest side of the art world. And then below that, you see genuinely good organizations, which is NIFA, which is Rivet, which is Res Artists. So wherever you are in the world, you can use these. But because there's been so many scams, organizations like NIFA, which are listed below, have opportunities, as well as Rivet, that you can search for without a fee. So you can say specifically, I only want to look at opportunities that have no fee involved, or I want to only look at opportunities that pay the artist something. Um, so that's what I've put down there below, different opportunities that you can apply to through those links. NIFA is one, Res Artist is another, especially for international artists, as is Rivet, also for international artists. So I encourage you to look through those links, because that's the sunny side of the art world. That's the good people, the good place, so to speak. And if you want to look at How's My Dealing, that articulates the dark side of the art world. You'll see other artists who are posting about organizations that they've specifically targeted and mentioned as being taken advantage of. And you'll see other artists chiming in about their experiences as well. So I hope this was helpful, and I wish you the best with your art practice.